Hello Albuquerque City Council, my name is Natalie Feinstein, and I will be presenting the Live to Be Drug-Free Project, a plan to bring New Mexico's drug problem to an end. The purpose of this proposal is to provide a solution to the major drug problem here. The reason why we need to fix the problem is important. It is affecting everybody around us. So here what you see is our problem, illicit and prescription drug use. There are multiple causes of this problem, which can include easy access to drugs, cheap drugs, poverty, peer pressure, and stressors. The effects of these drugs are even more detrimental. Drug use leads to death. In 2009, New Mexico had the highest drug-induced death rate throughout the nation. 85% of these deaths were actually unintentional, while 15% of the deaths were intentional. Here you can see a little graph representing that. Hundreds and thousands of dollars every year are being spent on drug use and consequences. In 2012, $11 billion were spent due to drug use, such as emergency room visits and prevention and treatment healthcare costs. That same year, $193 billion were spent on lost work productivity, crime, and it included overall healthcare costs as well. And this is the data from the nation as a whole. In 2012, Albuquerque Police Department made over 4,000 arrests, just with that single police department. 2,305 arrests were made for drug abuse violations, 1,356 were made for sale and or manufacturing, and 949 arrests were made from possession. Lastly, the effects of drugs on crime are all negative. These involve robberies, kidnappings, weapon use, and gang involvement. So the solution to the drug problem in Mexico is going to be supported by the Live to Be Drug-Free Project. The plan for this project includes 3 simple steps to achieve this. Step 1 is Narcan access for the public. Narcan is an opioid antagonist which works against the effect of opioid drugs such as morphine or heroin on the body. It binds to these receptors before the drug can, so the harmful drug won't have an effect on the body. Step 2 involves educational drug awareness. Elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools should be actually targeted here. And step 3 is enforced per se laws. Per se laws make it illegal to operate a motor vehicle with any detectable amount of certain drugs in a person's system. So in these next few slides, I will go ahead and explain what each step entails. So step 1 is Narcan access for the public. Narcan is currently available from emergency medical technicians and is available for prescription for those who are at risk, but Narcan should actually be made available as an over-the-counter drug, just so that they can reduce deaths throughout New Mexico. So what we need to do is contact the New Mexico Board of Pharmacy because they are the ones who regulate the drug industry. And we can go ahead and set up an interview with them to discuss our opinions about making Narcan an over-the-counter drug. We can email them at pharmacy.board@state.nm.us. In this interview, we will discuss the new FDA-approved naloxone auto-injector, which you can see on the left, which is a very simple tool to use that can definitely save lives in time of need. And it's much like the epinephrine injector for severe allergic reactions. It works just the same way. And in addition to the interview, we can include a statewide petition in favor of making Narcan over the counter. And making a petition will actually be discussed a little bit later in the presentation. Okay, so step 2 deals with educational drug awareness. So what we will do is we'll provide emergency medical technicians to all the local schools all over New Mexico to educate elementary, middle, and high school students about consequences of drugs and what it can do to your body and the negative effects it has. So we will use emergency medical technicians because these people in this profession really understand the bad consequences of drug use, and they see it on a daily basis. So what we will do is we'll assign one EMT that works for each of the 89 school districts in New Mexico to talk to the students. All these educational teachings will be held at a local park or someplace where everyone can gather for free, with all the schools in each district. All of these EMTs need to do is they need to speak for an hour tops, and all the information will be delivered via microphones and speakers. And we will use our volunteer EMS or EMTs to do this. And just to let you all know, EMS stands for Emergency Medical Services, and EMT stands for Emergency Medical Technicians. And lastly, step 3 involves enforcing per se laws. According to StopDUID.org, per se means that any detectable amount of controlled substance, other than a medicine prescribed by a physician, for that driver and a driver's bodily fluids, constitutes per se evidence of a drugged driving violation. So, New Mexico is one of the many states without a drug driving per se law. To get a per se law, we need a statewide petition to sign this per se law into action. The easiest and most cost-effective way to make this petition go viral is via email and social media. Having the word get out about this petition will allow people collectively to sign this petition through a free site called GoPetition. And there is the link that we can access this site at. So the majority of our budget will come from donations. These donations can be from anyone. People who have drug users in their family are definitely encouraged to donate to get this problem to stop. Those families who have had loved ones die or go to prison or any other consequence from drug use are also encouraged to donate, as their contributions will prevent more terrible consequences from happening in the future. So now we're going to get into the costs and benefits of this project. Most of the costs are actually not too expensive money-wise. The New Mexico Board of Pharmacy interview is just going to take some time. That's just the cost that's going to come out of it. The emergency medical technician volunteers, since they are volunteer, they actually don't need to get paid hourly or salary, but that is also just going to cost some time out from their schedule. For the equipment for the educational speech, including microphones and speakers, microphones are going to be $177.11, and speakers will be $622.11, and that will be shared throughout all of the 89 school districts. And lastly, the per se law petition via GoPetition website is going to be a free cost in monetary value. All it's going to take is some time to get enough signatures on the petition to present. So our grand total is going to be $799.22. That's going to be the cost that it takes, and then also we have to include the time. And now we're going to be on to our best part. Benefits. There are multiple benefits to the Live to Be Drug-Free project, which far exceed any upfront costs that you may see. Reduced death rate. Making Narcan available for over-the-counter use will really reduce the amount of deaths due to drug use in New Mexico. This will allow people to perform a life-saving maneuver within seconds and with no medical knowledge required. In addition to that, this will also reduce costs. Not as many people will need as much emergency care if the majority of treatment can be taken care of at home. Drug consequence awareness. Education to our school system will make the younger generations more aware about the consequence of drug use, from death to trouble with the law and violence. The population that we want to focus on is the youth, because we can prevent them from trying drugs. Promote harsher consequences. The per se laws will promote harsher consequences upon those who get caught with drugs and those who operate vehicles under the influence of drugs. That provides us for a safer community amongst the streets of New Mexico. In conclusion, the benefits far outweigh the costs in this situation. The importance of making a difference in New Mexico is up to us. With the Live to Be Drug-Free project, New Mexico's drug use problem will be eliminated. Lastly, thank you for all your time and consideration. If at any time you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me via email at fnatalie@unm.edu.